Pekka Auvinen, also known as the YouTube Killer, was a Finnish school shooter and mass murderer who was responsible for the Jokela High School massacre on November 7, 2007 in Jokela, Tuusula, Finland. Auvinen began making preparations for the shooting by writing a manifesto in both Finnish and English and posting it online, acquired a permit to carry a firearm, and purchased a gun and several rounds of ammunition. He went into the woods and recorded himself shooting apples as a form of target practice, before posting the videos on the internet. On November 7th, Auvinen never showed up for his first class at school and took to surfing on the internet instead. At approximately 9:33 a.m., Auvinen posted a video onto YouTube which showed the Jokela High School across a pond, before cutting to a reddish image of him pointing his gun at the camera. After 11 a.m., he edited the video and sent a message to the School Killings Net community, quoting that history would be made that day. By 11:28 a.m., Auvinen shut down his computer and proceeded to the school by bicycle. He arrived at the school at around 11:37 a.m., and entered the basement through a door just below the school canteen. At 11:42 a.m., the massacre began, when Auvinen shot an upper secondary school student. Afterwards, he began to travel to the lavatories on the ground floor corridor. Several students were confused about what was going on. Others tried to call for help from the ERC. As this happened, Auvinen shot 2 other students. The school's nurse, Sirka Kataraka, shouted at the students to leave the building before making a call to the ERC when she realized that a student had been shot. While Kataraka made the phone call, Auvinen shot a 4th student before setting his sights on her. After shooting her, Auvinen shot a 5th student. At around 11:46 a.m., 6 people had been killed within 4 minutes. A student entered the deputy head teacher's office to warn her that there was a gunman at the school. The deputy head teacher passed this message on to the head teacher, Helena Kelmi. At 11:47 a.m., Kelmi made an announcement on the PA system that told the students to remain in the classrooms and not to leave. After the announcement had been made, Auvinen fired several shots in the corridor and shouted, "I'll kill all of you." However, when he stumbled across the path of a student's mother who just happened to have entered the building at the time, he spared her. After this, though, he attempted to enter a classroom on the ground floor and shot through the door 3 times, injuring a student in the foot in the process. Auvinen ascended 2 floors up to the 2nd floor and came across 2 students sitting on a bench within the corridor. One of them escaped, but the other was fatally wounded by Auvinen. At some point, Auvinen sprayed a flammable liquid on the corridor wall and attempted to ignite it with matches, but ultimately failed. After the attempted arson, Auvinen descended to the corridor in front of the school canteen and attempted to enter, only to find that the doors had been closed and locked. He demanded to be let in before shooting through the doors and hitting several chairs. As this was happening, a group of people that were hiding in the canteen managed to escape through the other end and hid in rooms behind the canteen's kitchen. At around 11:54 a.m., Kelmi and an education welfare officer exited through the ground floor door of the old building and ran to the pond side of the school. Kelmi stopped between the school building and the pond to make a phone call. The education welfare officer left for a car next to the sports hall and proceeded to the end of the car park to guide rescue vehicles to the scene of the massacre. Just as he was doing so, Auvinen exited out of the exit below the canteen, cursing. This caused the education welfare officer to flee to the field. At 11:57 a.m., Auvinen shot Kelmi several times in the head. Later on, he entered the school again and ascended to the 1st floor. He attempted to enter the school faculty room but to no avail. He then proceeded to a comprehensive school classroom and entered through an open door. While he was there, Auvinen pointed his gun at the students, told them that there was a revolution going on and instructed them to start breaking things. When the students either refused or were confused about what was going on, he fired at a television set and the window within the room and left without firing any shots at the students. A few minutes past noon, Auvinen was roaming about through the corridor on the first floor in front of the school faculty room. Meanwhile, the first set of policemen and ambulances were on the scene near the inner court. When he saw this, Auvinen tried to fire through the window at an oblique angle toward the direction of the inner court, but the bullet couldn't penetrate the glass. When this happened, he took up a position near the front entrance and fired 2 shots at the policeman who attempted to approach him and gave him orders to drop the gun at around 12:04 p.m. After this, he proceeded to walk toward a lavatory next to the canteen. While inside the lavatory, Auvinen shot himself in the head, but survived. He was found nearly 2 hours later in a search conducted by law enforcement and transferred to the Helsinki University Central Hospital, where he died at 10:15 p.m. that evening. Auvinen shot all of his victims with a .22 Sig mosquito. He also sprayed the walls of the corridor in the school with the flammable liquid and attempted to ignite it, but failed. Most of the victims were students, though 3 of the fatalities were faculty members.